Is it possible to reach level 12 before arriving in Act 3? Are animals larger than peacocks allowed to enter Baldur's Gate? And is Karlach's fourth wall breaking cutscene organically triggerable in the game? All these questions and more will be answered in this episode of Busting Myths in Baldur's Gate 3, 2024 edition. Let's first find out if it's possible to hit level 12 before entering Act 3. The only true way to test this myth is by min-maxing every single moment of the game without making any mistakes. So that's exactly what I did, while making sure to pick off difficult to kill mobs like the camions aboard the Nautiloid, catching fleeing NPCs before their escape, killing people who normally die in cutscenes, and completing every available quest followed by betraying the quest givers immediately afterwards. Just before wrapping up Act 1, I scooped up the XP from powerful NPCs like Raphael, Elminster, and the Oathbreaker Knight, allowing me to reach level 8 with just over half the way towards level 9 completed, which is a lot higher than casual Google searching would tell you is possible. I hit level 9 while knocking out everyone at Last Lights Inn, level 10 while clearing out Moonrise Towers, and after doing everything else in the act, level 11 just before entering the Mindflayer colony. Matching Kethric's level during that encounter turned it into a complete joke, and by the end of Act 2, after defeating the Githyanki alongside the Emperor, I'd earned 11,399 of the 24,000 total required to reach level 12. While I'm sure I could have missed a bit of experience here and there, as someone with well over 1,000 hours played, there's no way I missed anywhere near 12,000 XP. But I anyways decided not to call it there after just a mediocre 20 hours of testing, and began going through the entire game once more piece by piece, searching for anything the developers may have missed. Something like a repeatable quest, but I couldn't find any of those. Exploits, all the ones I knew of were patched out, so the only thing I could think of was farmable encounters. There were a few that seemed promising at first, but didn't really pan out, until I stumbled upon Gek. While fighting Gek, he'll summon 3 to 4 zombies during combat. These undead minions are abnormal, as they reward experience despite being a summoned minion. But the problem is Gek will never resummon these again during battle. The solution? Drop combat, re-engage him, wait for a turn where he's not invisible, and then Gek will whip up a fresh batch of zombies for you to farm. I repeated this process 25 times in a row over the course of an hour, and he continued this behavior every single time, confirming I found an unlimited experience farming method in Baldur's Gate 3. The bad news is these undead only reward you with 3 experience per kill, and will take a minimum of 2 hits to go down because of their passive. So this is where the numbers I found by playing until the end of Act 2 will come into play. By using math, we can find that you would need to kill 4,201 zombies, which should take about 50 hours at the pace I was going. Afterwards, continue min-maxing every other possible moment during both Acts 1 and 2, and congratulations, you've hit level 12 before arriving in Act 3. Go touch grass. So is this confirmed? I still don't think so. My game started to become really laggy with just over 80 corpses loaded in, slowing down my kill speed massively. So dealing with 4,000 plus corpses littering the Underdark or manually moving them all one by one would probably cause problems in the game, making it crash or become totally unplayable. I'll call this myth plausible, as no sane person would actually do this, but at least we can confirm a normal person would never hit level 12 before Act 3. And with that wrapped up, we'll take a look at a silly and fun myth, that no animal larger than a peacock may enter Baldur's Gate. The story behind this one comes from an in-game note in which the writer complains that pet bears are not allowed in the city, as this peacock law is in place. Additionally, during Act 1, a couple of tieflings allude to this same rule, mentioning that dogs are not allowed in Baldur's Gate. But do the city guards even react to animals in order to test this myth? For the most part, no. However, the guards at the checkpoint to enter Baldur's Gate do react to anyone trying to walk past them, including animals. Having first experienced these reactions during my challenge runs, I'd previously noticed that large cats like saber-toothed tigers cannot enter the city, but small house cats could, leading me to believe there could be some truth to this peacock phenomenon. For testing this law, I attempted entry with every possible druid beast form as well as any other summoned animal companion I could think of from the game, then observed the guards' reactions. As expected, small animal forms like the cat, blue jay, and raven were no concern for these checkpoint guards. And when moving to the larger wild shapes like the bear, the guards would prompt you that you're not welcome here twice before attacking if you continued past them. This pattern held true during all of my testing, confirming that for druid forms larger than a peacock, their entry is denied to Baldur's Gate. But the next thought on my mind was that house cats don't appear dangerous when compared to a polar bear, so what if it's about how aggressive these animals look rather than their physical size? To be positively sure that wasn't the case, I called up Scratch. You're not gonna tell me this boy looks dangerous. But upon entry, Scratch still triggered the guards. This made me question how Sparky snuck his way in, until I actually compared the two side by side and realized that Sparky is much smaller, most likely an intentional detail put in by the developers to abide by the law. In line with the druid's wild shape forms, the ranger's small companions like the rats and crabs entered peacefully, while the larger sized beastmaster companions other than the raven and spider prompted combat. The spider is the first creature to actually cause a little bit of confusion for me though, because the druid spider is denied entry but the beastmaster spider is completely ignored. Although it's a bit debatable whether or not these two spiders are larger than a peacock, so I'll let that one slide. The last thing I wanted to test was using using the enlarge/reduce spell to change these animals' sizes. Increasing the size of the cat and the other small forms had no effect on my entry, nor did reducing the size of any of the large restricted animals, showing that physical size or the size tag of the character does not appear to be a factor. Since 25 out of the 26 animals I attempted entry with followed the rule, they most likely just messed up on one of the spiders and didn't realize that there's a mismatch. Because I mean, who has the job at Larian Studios to double check on the peacock law? At the very least, the reactivity from the guards upon seeing Scratch and the large Beastmaster companions was completely unexpected for myself, providing further evidence to the passion that went into this game. This one is confirmed. Next on the list, crate walls. Are they really as effective as people say they are? Having browsed several Baldur's Gate 3 communities daily for over a year now, I've come across several posts claiming wooden walls can trivialize outdoor battles such as the Hellside Portal encounter. These still images provide no evidence as to their effectiveness, which made me want to challenge it myself. To ensure this is really possible without cheating, I made sure to gather every single one of these crates organically by hand while testing the first myth in this video. I even topped it off by adding chests to this platform to block anything from getting close to the portal. But before showing the wall's defenses, I wanted to establish a baseline by confirming how many turns this portal can survive without any aid whatsoever on Tactician difficulty. To complete the quest, the portal must survive 5 full turns. I went invisible turn 1 as to not draw any attention from the shadow enemies, then waited patiently, observing as the portal took 1 hit on turn 1 from a shadow-cursed undead archer, it nearly fell during turn 2 from several attacks, and then it was destroyed by the 6th enemy of turn 3. With the control test out of the way, I moved on to test these famous Reddit walls. The first turn of the experiment, the undead combatants approached the wall, ending their turn while doing nothing, and the portal itself took 0 damage. Turn 2 spawns many more enemies, and not long into the experiment, similar to the first, these undead harpers began firing their arrows, which go directly through the walls, bringing the portal under half HP. Turn 3, the portal faced a continuous barrage, falling to the 12th enemy on the turn. So what went wrong? Why did it do almost nothing? The problem here is that most objects in Baldur's Gate 3 do not block attacks unless directly targeted. You can fire arrows or spells directly through things like crates and chests, or even jump through them without issue. These objects will block your walking path, but not your attacks. I did say most though, because I'm sure nearly every player at one point or another experienced a door blocking their attack. But most people probably never realize that barrels share this functionality. When attempting to shoot through a wooden barrel, your character must first move to get line of sight on its target, and jumping through them is totally impossible. With that knowledge in mind, I reconstructed the same scenario as my previous testing. The only difference is I replaced my portal blocking crates with barrels. I double checked to make sure the pathing block message appears from all angles, then spoke with Halsin to see if my barrel theory makes any difference. Just like my previous test, turn 1 the portal took no damage. Turn 2 the undead started attacking like before, but this time they aimed for the crates blocking their path rather than firing at the portal. After a few more minutes, the wall held for the full 5 turns, with the barrel and chest being completely untouched. Based on these experiments, I'd say that outdoor wooden wall crates are better than nothing, as they successfully prevent melee attackers from reaching the portal, but are completely ineffective at blocking ranged attacks. And it shouldn't be a shock to anyone that Barrelmancy triumphs again. That's crate busted, barrels confirmed. The final myth we'll be looking at today, and arguably the greatest mystery in Baldur's Gate 3, is whether or not Dragonborn poop. Whoops. That's the wrong one. It's Karlach's 4th wall-breaking cutscene. Is it actually accessible without modifying the game's files? Just in case you're unfamiliar with what I'm talking about, a YouTuber named Chublot first posted the cutscenes I'm showing now, which involve Karlach looking directly into the camera and hinting at her realization she's stuck in this world. The scene even goes as far as to ask you if you're having fun, or if you've traveled to Baldur's Gate before. Chublot accessed this cutscene by modifying the game's files, and most people assumed it was just cut content. That is until Samantha, the voice actor for Karlach, responded on Twitter saying, "Congratulations on finding this. Perhaps I'll talk about it when someone triggers this organically, rather than yanking the file and getting confused about the context." Additionally, hundreds of players left comments on YouTube, Reddit, Discord, and other sites claiming to have seen this cutscene during their own playthroughs. But the problem is that no one knows how to trigger it, no one recorded this during their gameplay, and not one person who claims they've ran into the cutscene could explain how it happened. Many of the people reporting they've seen it in-game also posted conflicting information about when or where it occurs, some going as far as to claim that it's completely random. This is a topic that I've been researching for a while now, checking every few months for any updates. But much like Bigfoot, there's no evidence showing this 4th wall break recorded naturally in-game. The only videos showcasing it on YouTube are by people who've confirmed they were using mods, console commands, or cheat engine to get the cutscene to trigger. If someone knew a way to organically trigger this, they would have posted how they did it. This entire rant though, it's just opinion based. As for actual evidence against this myth, the in-game files themselves read, "Currently cannot be triggered." This note was found by data mining Karlach's conversations in Baldur's Gate 3. With this evidence, combined with no actual proof from anyone claiming to have seen it, I'm confident in saying this cutscene does not exist in-game legitimately, and the people claiming to have seen it most likely mixed it up with this cutscene here, which is a slightly less egregious 4th wall break from Karlach. While this may not be the definitive proof you all wanted, I'll happily be proven wrong, which is why I've decided to throw up a bounty. If someone can find a legitimate way without modifying find the game's files or cheating to trigger this cutscene, post a video showing a method of how they did it, and others can do it themselves using that method, I will send you $500. Leave a comment down below that you've posted your video, and if it works, you've earned the money. You've got until patch 7 to claim that bounty. To wrap up that myth, I'm gonna call the fourth wall cutscene being in-game busted. Be sure to subscribe to my channel to find out if someone's gonna claim that bounty one day. If you enjoyed this video in the myth busting series, leave a like to help me recoup my potential hundreds of dollars I may be losing out on. And try checking out some of the other myth busting videos I posted last year. As always, thanks for watching. Proxy out.